Weird random historical facts. Beethoven could still hear after going deaf. Upon going deaf, Beethoven discovered that if he bit onto a metal pole that connected to the piano he was playing, he could hear almost perfectly well. This process is called bone conduction, and while technology has evolved, the science is the same. Vibrations are transferred from the conductive metal into our bones. When this happens, our ears pick up the signal with no sound distortion. Air attacks during World War I. Just because you weren't in the battlefields didn't mean you weren't in the danger zone. Back on the home front, Britain was under attack from all sides, even the sky. These enormous German Zeppelin airships carried out 52 bombing raids on ordinary people's homes in Britain during the war. They have killed over 500 people. People were terrified to them. To avoid Zeppelin attacks, no lights could be used after sunset, and loud noises were banned too. Children during World War I. Did you know that Boy Scouts and Girl Guides had a vital role on the home front? Girl Guides would make basic medical equipment for wounded soldiers like bandages, swabs, and slings. Boy Scouts collected eggs for injured troops, protected roads and railway lines, and delivered messages. They also played all-clear signals on bugles following air raids. Children were even paid to collect conkers, which could be turned into explosives. They also wrote letters to soldiers and helped to knit socks and scarves for the troops in the winter months. Albert Einstein could have been the president of Israel when it was formed, but he declined. Albert Einstein was Jewish, but not an Israeli citizen. In spite of that, he was offered the presidency in 1952 and turned it down, stating,
I am deeply moved by the offer from our state of Israel, and at once saddened and ashamed that I cannot accept it. All my life I have dealt with objective matters, hence I lack both the natural aptitude and the experience to deal properly with people and to exercise official functions. For these reasons alone, I should be unsuited to fulfill the duties of that high office.
A sad ending. The eldest son of the future Roman Emperor Claudius, Tiberius Claudius Drusus, died of asphyxiation when he tossed a pear high in the air and caught it with his mouth, but he choked on it. At the time, it was suspected that he had been murdered by Sejanus, the father of his betrothed, but Suetonius, a Roman historian, did not believe that. I really don't understand how you could fit a pear in your own mouth. Benjamin Franklin was a catfish. In 1722, the readers of The Current, a paper published in Boston, were captivated by letters sent in by a widow with a keen wit and a gift for satire. Miss Silence Dogood. In her letters, Miss Dogood poked fun at such illustrious institutions such as Harvard, therefore winning the hearts of many. For months, no one knew the identity of Miss Dogood. Turns out, Silence Dogood was actually 16-year-old Benjamin Franklin, who worked as an apprentice in his brother's print shop. Cleopatra was not Egyptian. Cleopatra was a queen of Egypt, but she was not Egyptian. She was the last of the Macedonian Greek dynasty that ruled Egypt from the time of Alexander the Great's death in 323 BCE to about 30 BCE. She was a talented and resourceful individual of great charm, but ruthless when she felt she had to be. Cleopatra was the only one of her family that learned to speak the Egyptian language. She knew a half a dozen to a dozen other languages. She was an educated intellectual and a capable administrator. Despite her abilities and efforts, she failed, and her life was one of sadness rather than glamour. Christmas trees. The Christmas trees were first seen in 16th century Germany, where at Christmas time people decorated fir trees with fruits and nuts and later sweets, paper shapes, and candles. Every year, Norway sends a beautiful homegrown Christmas tree to London, standing a towering 20 meters tall. The terrific tree is a gift to say thank you for the help the UK gave Norway during World War II. What a tremendous gift. Actor became the president of Ukraine. Before being elected as president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky became the star of the popular television series Servant of the People, where he played the role of the president of Ukraine. In the show, Zelensky's character is a high school history teacher who wins the presidential election after a viral video of him ranting against government corruption in Ukraine. Zelensky led a successful, almost entirely viral presidential campaign to unseat the current president of Ukraine in just 3 months. The long-lost speech. The longest ever U.S. presidential inauguration speech belongs to William Henry Harrison. The day of the inauguration was overcast, with cold wind and the noon temperature estimated to be 48.5 degrees Fahrenheit, or 9.2 degrees Celsius. The president-elect chose not to wear an overcoat, hat, or gloves for the ceremony. Weeks after the inauguration, Harrison caught a cold that eventually turned into pneumonia. Harrison died on April 4th. making his presidency the shortest in American history.